Every self-help guru on the internet wants you to believe that the only one thing standing between you and $1 million is a 4:30 a.m. clock. They want you to jump in a freezing tub of water, drink matcha, and write "I'm a successful CEO" 50 times in a leather journal while the rest of the world is sleeping. They tell you that if you just suffer enough before sunrise, the universe will magically reward you with a six-figure business and a perfect body and a life where you crop out the gold bricks before breakfast. But here is a fun fact. In 2017, 3 American scientists won the Nobel Prize in medicine. No new pills, no magic biohacks, they just prove that your sleep clock is literally locked inside your DNA. If your body is built to sleep late, forcing yourself up in 5 a.m. isn't discipline. It's a self-harm. You aren't hacking your day. You are just starving your brain of sleep, making it smaller, and breaking the exact part of your brain you need to do your fucking job. Welcome to the Sane Bigs. I am Teja. Let's do the fucking math. But Placebo Cartel doesn't give a fuck about the Nobel Prize, because sleep is free, and they can't sell you a $1,000 course on closing your eyes for 8 hours. You want to know who actually started a 4 a.m. wake-up routine? It wasn't a billionaire, it was the military. Sleep deprivation is a classified CIA breaking tactic. When they want to break a prisoner, they wake up them in the middle of the night. Because the lack of sleep kills your logic. It makes you weak, highly emotional, and easy to control. The hope dealers took a literal charter protocol, slapped an aesthetic filter on it, and sold you as a billionaire mindset. You aren't building discipline, you are breaking yourself. Think about it. Look at the guy who made the sleepest hustle famous, Thomas Edison. He told the press he only slept 3 hours a night. He publicly shamed people for sleeping. He forced his factory workers to do insane 100-hour shifts, but it was a complete fucking scam. His own assistant said that Edison took the massive 3-hour naps all day long. He had secret beds hiding all over his laboratory. He didn't hack human biology. He lied to get more cheap labor out of his workers. If the boss never sleeps, you can't sleep either. The hope dealers brainwash the whole internet. These people are experts at selling you comfortable lies. One half tell you to wake up at 4 a.m. to be a billionaire. The other half, which even worse, tell you just relax, vibrate high, and the money will flow to you. They want you sitting on a yoga mat, waiting to the universe to pay your rent, just so they can sell you the manual. Today we are ripping the mask off the whole morning routine circus. We jump in a rabbit hole to see the raw, ugly truth of why trying to win the morning is the exact reason you end up broke, exhausted, and feeling like a loser by noon. In 2006, researchers in the University of Colorado published a massive study of JAMA. They tracked exactly what happens when you rip a human being out of deep sleep before their biological clock is ready. The results were a fucking disaster. For the first 2 hours after waking up, your brain is so trashed and slow. It's worse than if you just stayed awake for 24 hours straight. Science calls it sleep inertia. And the internet gurus want you to take his half-dead brain, sit at your desk, and try to build an empire. Because some guy with a mic told you it builds discipline. Bullshit. But it gets worse. Let's look at a crazy glitch in human biology. In 2011, researchers from Columbia University analyzed over 1,000 real court rulings. Imagine you are begging for parole. If you see a judge at 8:30 a.m., you have a 65% chance to walk in free. But if your hearing is at 11:30 a.m., right before the line break, 0. You stay in a cage. The judge didn't suddenly turn evil. His brain just ran out of gas. Every choice you make physically burns through. By noon, the judge was so mentally exhausted. His brain defaulted the laziest, safest option, doing nothing, leaving you locked up. Now let's look at the static morning routine they sold you. Let's apply the DTFM rule. Do the fucking mess. You wake up half asleep, and then you immediately start fighting yourself. You fight your brain to jump into freezing water. Cost 20% of your mental gas tank. Then you sit on the floor and fight your thoughts to meditate. Cost 15%. You force yourself to write gratitude list. 10%. By the time 9 a.m. rolls around and you actually need to do the hard, ugly work to make money, you are the tired judge right before lunch. You open Instagram, scroll for an hour and call it research. To fix this empty tank, the Placebo Cartel sell you expensive garbage. Look at the famous butter coffee biohacking trend. A guru brainwashed millions of people that normal coffee was full of toxic mold that destroyed your focus. Buy his special $50 clean coffee and blend it with a huge block of butter. People were drinking 1,000 calories of pure fat at 6 a.m., thinking they were upgrading their DNA, but independent labs tested normal coffee. There was no toxic mold. The guru completely manufactured a fake treat to sell his overpriced beans. They tricked an entire generation into drinking a liquid fat to feel smart. Let me be brutally clear. Paying for a real skill, learning human psychology, or buying a system that actually speeds up your work, that's buying a weapon. That makes you dangerous. But freezing your ass off in a tub to manifest money, that's plain pretend. The internet actually got the entire generation of grown adults to believe that if you just close your eyes and vibrate high, the universe will magically drop cash into your bank account. If you look at the math for 2 seconds, the whole scam falls apart. The only guy getting rich from manifesting is the guy selling you the 500 cars on how to do it. They're literally selling you fake hope. Let's be fucking real. Your landlord doesn't accept good vibes for rent. The world doesn't care about your frequency. You don't get paid for having a cute morning routine. You get paid for getting shit done. Zero magic, just math. In 2009, researchers ran a massive study of human goals. They figure out the exact trick the brain uses to bullshit people. Here is the glitch. When you spend your whole morning freezing in a bath or writing "I'm a billionaire" 50 times in a leather notebook, by 8 a.m. you are finished your rituals and you feel like a fucking winner before the rest of the world is even awake. And that's exactly how you ruin your life. Your brain is so high on this fake success that it stops trying. You are sitting there proud of your discipline while your reality is still a total mess. You burned all your fuel pretending to be a winner, and now you have zero left to actually fix your life. You're just getting high on your own bullshit. Adam Neumann burned $47 billion of others people's money because he chose vibes over math. He didn't build a business, he built a $47 billion cult. Imagine this, thousands of employees forced into a forest for a summer camp. The schedule, a delusional mix of mandatory morning meditation followed up by non-stop tequila shots. While his company was losing $20,000 every fucking hour, Neumann was on stage telling everyone he was going to change the world. He spent $60 million on a private jet and wasted $13 million into a wave pool startup just because it matched the vibe. He wasn't running a company, he was addicted to the feeling of being a genius while the ship was underwater. If you want to stop the hallucinations and actually see real results in your bank account, in your body, in your life, you don't need another magic habit. You need a fucking reality check. You need to take a massive black garbage bag and throw back 90% of your aesthetic routine in the trash. That's why I built the trash bag protocol. I don't sell hope. I don't sell vibes, I sell the truth. No more meditation to the six-pack. Just the cold, hard framework to get shit done. This is the logic the gurus hope you'll never find. The link is below. Look, your vision board is beautiful, but your brain is actually using it against you. Every time you glue a Ferrari to the board or pray to a Wells crystal, you are giving yourself a fake trophy. Your brain dumps a bucket of cheap dopamine into your system, tricking your prefrontal cortex into thinking you are already won. You feel like a boss for 5 minutes, while you are sitting in the same room with the same empty pockets. You're just lying to yourself so you don't have to do actual work. What happens when you trust this manifestation garbage to the absolute end? In 1909, a superstar from the movie The Secret ran a retreat. He charged people $10,000 to manifest their ultimate lives. He locked them inside a boiling hot tent in a desert. And when people started passing out, he told them the pain was just an illusion. He told them to vibrate higher and use their minds to beat the heat. Reality didn't care about their vibrations. 3 people died, 18 were hospitalized. The guru went to prison. The ultimate trap. Placebo Cartel sell you the delusion. If you just believe hard enough, the real world stops working. Total bullshit. You can't manifest oxygen. You can't manifest pizza into an empty box. If you can, let me know in the comments. The universe doesn't give a fuck about your mood. When you play pretend with reality, reality always wins. Let's be real, the only manifestation that actually works is your money moving into hope dealers' bank accounts. While you're busy waiting to the full moon to fix your life, they're busy counting their cash. They don't want you to wake up. They want you to stay a customer. Your elite customer in a Placebo Cartel. I'm not here to talk about vibes or motivation, go to circus for that. Everything I mentioned, all the links, the energy leak test and the trash bag protocol waiting for you in the description. Stop finding someone else's Dubai vacation with your time. Grab the tools, check the facts, and let's go to work.